Hello, hello, and welcome. It is Monday, August 10th, exactly 12 p.m. We have another hour until RTH close. I wanted to make this video for you guys who had questions about the CL trade on Friday, or CL not having trades rather on Friday. We had trades for every other instrument, but not CL. Today we have CL trades, so I wanted to share that with you, and CL is right here. And we also, of course, have ES, we have MNQ, we have NQ, and we have GC. So all of them had trades today. So before I even jump into CL and discuss PQ news that's associated with it, let's go ahead and quickly go over the actual any trades that we had for all the instruments. So for ES, we have that enter short trade. It booked it there. We are currently in a long trade at 76 and a quarter. So we're waiting to see what happens with that. We're slightly in profit right now, but we'll see what happens until the close. This is CL. Let me get back to this, guys. We definitely have trades, okay, but let me get back to it. This is MNQ. We're in a trade as well with MNQ on a second trade, I believe, or perhaps the third. I don't recall. That's the third trade. Okay, so that is the third trade. So we can see the first trade was right there. It was a short. The second trade was a long. Notice on the entry, guys, it's going against us. Okay, so it's going against us, but ultimately it is getting it correct because this is looking forward, right? It's answering that 120-minute question. The HigherEdgeAI model is saying in the next 120 minutes, where are we getting to? So that is essentially where we're at, and that is the final trade of MNQ. We're still in it. We'll see what happens. Slightly up. We'll see what happens. Okay, God willing, it works. This is NQ. All right, so NQ had a short. That was win, and long win. There are no further trades on NQ. This is GC. So GC had two trades, two wins, and actually 3 trades and 3 wins. There you go. I've not been paying attention to GC because I'm really more focused on CL today. So I wanted to get trades, actually. That's what I wanted. I wanted for it to get trades so I can make a video and show you guys that CL trades as well. And so there it is. So that's for CL. Let's just now talk about CL because CL had its own setups today. So let's start from the beginning. And just in case anybody's wondering, the strategy is always running 6:30 to 12:30 for all instruments, all 5 instruments. Again, this is a plain vanilla setup. Okay, you guys, it's a plain vanilla setup. It's basically pretty much the, this is 500, 400 on the stops. It's 300, 300 on scale-ins. And you can now have in 1006 granular control over your scale-in trades. And the scale-in trades are going to be more conservative. In fact, the whole system is more conservative, so you will have likely less trades versus the previous version. But the trades, in my view, God willing, should be of significantly higher quality. In this war on, war off market. Okay, so that is very difficult to do when you have war on, war off news coming in and out of the market. But even in that atmosphere, from what I've observed so far, it's doing, thank God, really well. Okay, so this is a plain vanilla setup for CL, and those were the trades that it took. This is what I wanted to discuss with you guys and PQ News, how to set that up. So for those of you who are going to be using the optional PQ News, first of all, you should know that it is using Gemini's API. All right. So you're going to have to get a Gemini API key. Very easy. You sign up. It takes about a minute to do. Once you sign up, they give you the API key online. It's instant. And then you can plug it in following the instructions in the reference manual. Also in your download area, you can see it there. It tells you what to do with that API key. And it's really easy. It should take you less than 5 seconds to do. And then you're off and running. The only thing is, when you're using somebody else's API, they're going to charge you for it. So the API calls are going through Google. Google's the owner of Gemini. So you're going to have to pay them something. Sometimes it's as little as 25 cents a day. Sometimes it could hit like 75 cents or 90 cents in a day, depending on what you're using it on, guys. Okay, so it's all dependent on you. The more instruments you have, the more calls it's going to make. Though I've done all sorts
Order submitted.
Oh, we got another order. We'll take a look at it as to which one it is right now. Let's see who it is. There it is. So it is GC. So we are now long in GC. You guys heard that live. Okay. So let me go back to PQ News. What's happening is the more I've done lots of programming so that we don't make extra unnecessary calls to Gemini. Okay, so I've tried to save as much as as many calls as possible without giving back any type of important stuff that we need to have. For example, so right when I've set it up, I essentially have set it up to go from 6:30 to 12:30, right? What it's programmed to do is look it up 15 minutes prior to that, just so that in case we open the market, the trading opens, if there's some sort of news, and if it's going to have a directional veto, as we have here, then let's take advantage of that right before we get into the trade, okay? And that's what it did. So at 6:15 at that call, it already got it, okay? And that, it read the headline news, and you can see it. Let me just expand that a little. Okay, so you can see it right here. It says the veto is already in place. Geopolitical risk event reported by Reuters. Okay, so it looked up Reuters, and it that's one of the headline news sources. There are several others, and basically this is what it got. Geopolitical risk event reported. Oil prices rise as Iran tempers optimism around Strait of Hormuz reopening. Okay, so essentially what it did is it blocked, you could see it veto triggered, blocking shorts this lookup cycle. Reason, geopolitical risk event. I've said it in Friday's video, the last video that I made. It basically is going to have this sort of generic reason, but if you look up, you can actually read it, okay? But don't expect in this box for me to put all that stuff in. So just for aesthetic reasons, it's only going to have this geopolitical risk event, okay? So it's been blocked ever since. The short side has been blocked. The price and price level dictate the removal of this veto. Okay, so until that happens, until the price and price level dictate the removal, then it's going to stay in place. All right, so you can see the trades that it took for CL. So on Friday's video, we did not have any CL trades. We had trades for every other instrument, ES, MNQ, GC, but we did not for CL. And so now we have it for CL as well. And that's it. So let's quickly go over the strategy performance so far. There were no scale-in trades that I saw, which means that the performance numbers are going to be accurate. That's what that means, okay? So as long as there are no scale-in trades, it is going to be accurate. And you can tell by the name, okay? So if it's the entry name is enter short or enter long 222, that's a normal initial trade. It is not a scale-in trade. So that is correct. All the reporting is correct for that. This is CL. When I say it's correct, anybody who didn't watch the Friday video, you would know what is he talking about. What's correct? So in NinjaTrader, they use the FIFO system when it comes to strategy performance reporting. And if you have a trade, let's say you're in a trade, and you enter a second trade while that first trade is still live, it misattributes the actual results. So the only way to get around that is to actually look at the chart to see what's happening on the chart. That's one obvious way. Another very clean way is using the executions tab. The orders tab has it too, but the executions tab has even more granular detail. And I have a dashboard, the Pinnacle Quant dashboard, which is on my website. You can download it for free, whether you're a client or not a client. And you can essentially upload the CSV that you export from the executions tab, and it will map everything correctly. Every trade will be mapped correctly. Okay, but today there was no scale-ins, so that's what we had for this is what we had for CL. Okay, so far that's what we have for CL. Again, there's still time. It is looking for trades until 12:30. It is now 12:08. Okay, so this is MNQ. It is in a live trade now still. So it's 186, but there's one more trade. So we'll see what happens with that one trade. Okay, notice there's still no scale-ins. All right, so as I mentioned, there is still this trade. So we're still waiting. Outcome is still not clear. We'll have to wait. All right, and then there is, this is NQ. So let's take a look at NQ. Again, no scale-ins. As far as I recall. Yeah, no scale-ins. So a short and a couple of longs. All right, and then we also have this one. GC. All right, and for GC, we had 3 trades, and there they are. Again, no scale-ins. So all of the reporting is correct. Okay, so, and excuse me, GC has another trade live. We still are waiting for the outcome of this. Okay, so I guess at this point, let me just go ahead and share with you guys the following. The HigherEdgeAI is essentially running for all of them. Okay, so we're essentially running for all of them. This is HigherEdgeAI. Remember, we had the 3 models as I described in Friday's video. That's a must-watch video, guys. Let that be sort of the anchor video so that you can understand my mindset and how this software works. So this is, all of them are available. They're all here. That is PQNews. Let me minimize that so you guys can see all the HigherEdgeAI. This is a multivariate LSTM system, obviously proprietary. Lots and lots and lots of work has gone into this. So this is for all of them. Each and every instrument will need its own terminal, which is why some of you will ask me, for example, Rafi, I've got this laptop and I've been using it for NinjaTrader for like 2 years now, and it works fine. Yes, but the reason it works fine is because you're using probably the basic ATM, that's available to you in NinjaTrader. You may have some programmed stops and profit targets and trailing stops, etc. That's perfect. The laptop is perfect for that. However, this is a whole other level. Okay, guys? This is a whole other level. This is essentially, think about it. I have 5 instruments here, 5 of these terminals. Let's reference them as Python terminals. 5 for HigherEdgeAI 3.0 and 5 for PQNews. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 for PQNews. So that's 10 terminals running plus 5 instruments that are running, 5 charts that are running. And then, so if you're going to use a laptop and it's got, let's say, 16 gigs in there, it's not going to work. Okay, it's not going to work. You need to have generally a decent processor, okay, a good processor, solid state drive, a good hard drive, meaning SSD, and then you want to have at least 32 gigabytes if you're going to be trading something like this. I would say even 64 gigabytes. Most of you are trading about 1 to 2 instruments. Most of you. Some of you are taking it to a whole other level, okay? Some of you have dedicated servers at this point. It's not that you're beyond the VPS. You're using dedicated, powerful servers that you're managing yourself, and you're using this on top of it. So if you're going to be trading 6, 7, 8 instruments, just bear in mind that each one of these, don't forget NinjaTrader itself is pretty resource intensive, and they're all running concurrently, and you want it to be as fast as possible. So that's not the place where you want to, sort of save money. Okay, you want to essentially have the right system in place. You're buying top of the line software that is very advanced. Might as well buy or have a hardware that can run this software properly. So plenty of VPS options available to you. Majority of the clients are on VPSs. The NinjaTrader ecosystem has a handful of them that you can essentially visit and see if they can take care of you. I personally have one favorite in there. If you guys want to know, just shoot me an email and ask me what my personal favorite is, just from my experience and what my clients have experienced and how they've treated my clients and so on and so forth. And so I do have my personal favorite. None of these, at the end of the day, guys, if you have a human being that you're dealing with, whether it's me or anybody else, expect, imperfections. None of us are flawless. And so no hosting company or VPS provider is going to be flawless. It's just not going to happen. None of us are flawless. And so, but there are good ones and there are bad ones. That's pretty clear. So I have identified the one that I like. If you want to let me know, I don't want to say it in these videos, but if you want to know what they are, I'd be happy to send you an email and let you know what my thoughts are on that. So we're at this point waiting to see what happens. It is important that when we're watching these things, that we don't get stressed out. Okay, trade can go, once it enters the trade, it can go three different ways: higher, lower, or stay exactly the same. Okay, so once you're in there, be stress-free. In fact, the entire objective of me, when I first started developing this software, was initially for me because I was getting stressed out. Okay, so it was for me. The whole objective was so that you can be away from it, but not totally leave it unsupervised. Keep an eye on it. That's not what I'm saying. Some of you have, for example, when you're trading on your VPS, you're watching it remotely from your phones. Several of you, there are medical doctors, there are attorneys, there are CPAs, there are executives, entrepreneurs that are using the system. They can't be looking at their trades 24/7. That's not how their investments work. That's not how their 401ks work. They're not watching it 24/7. They can't. They don't have the time. So, watch it once in a while. You can check in when you have a break or something, check in just to see what it's doing. I would definitely check in on it towards the close because you may have flattened everything in there, which for me, it's 12.59 for my strategies. Some of you have that 15 minutes ahead. So for me, it's going to be 12.59. And so for you, for example, if you were in Pacific Standard Time right there, it'd be 12:44. If you are in Central Time, Eastern Time, etc., you would have adjusted for that. So just bear in mind that requires an internet connection. So if your connection is not working, then it's not going to fire off. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. You want to, towards the end, watch it. At least manually you can exit in that case. So if there was an emergency and the internet connection has been disconnected. So that's pretty much what I have to share. I'm going to let this video keep going, guys. What I'll probably do is put in some music for you guys so that you can watch it towards the end. I'll come back. I have to take care of a couple of things. I'll come back to this screen. I'm going to be on my other machine. And you guys can keep watching to see what's going to happen. Let me take you to the end of where we have trades. So we have a trade, as I mentioned, here for ES. So we're waiting to see what happens there. Okay, God willing it works. We have a trade here for MNQ. We're waiting to see what happens there. And we have a trade for GC. We're waiting to see what happens there. Okay, so in the next, this is running until 12. Well, it's looking for trades until 12:30. So 6:30 to 12:30. Remember, all of them are like that. 6:30 to 12:30. I'm picking a different one so that you guys can see that they're all the same. So 12:30. Okay. No, nothing hidden here. 12:30. Okay, it's fully transparent. You can see it. Okay. So it's going to stop looking for trades at 12:30. And again, I did not use any of the very cool advancements that 1006 has because I wanted to leave it plain vanilla so you can see the trades. For example, you have the high watermark. I did not use that. Okay. That is something that some of you have very specific goals and you've expressed those goals to me. If you had a specific goal of making, let's say $1,000, then you can essentially put in your high watermark so it meets that qualification. You can also do it from net session profit, which is far more exact than the high watermark. The high watermark basically says, I want to sort of let it run a little bit. Okay. Net session profit is going to try to exit you at that number that you input in there as close as it can get to it. It's not going to be necessarily exactly at that number, but it's going to be pretty darn close. Okay. So if you put in $1,000 in there, it's going to try to book $1,000 for net session profit for you as close as it can. If you do that with high watermark, it's not going to do that. It's going to essentially go off of the percentage that you put in. So meaning that you gave it more room to run. Okay, so let's just quickly do that before I switch over to my other workstation. So you are going to essentially get to the high watermark, which is right here. It's going to be under money and trade management. So you're essentially going to put that number here. And then that is your backstop. It's essentially the floor. Okay. So if you put $1,000 there and you put 50% backstop, it's going to try to, it's always going to follow it at $500. Well, excuse me, at 50%. So 1,000 would be 500, 2,000 would be 1,000. If it gets to a $3,000 unrealized plus realized profit, it's going to be 1,500 and so on. Okay. So it's going to essentially give you more room there. But if you just want to make a specific number and be done, I've not used that either. And that's the net session profit. Okay. So it's right there, net session profit gate. And you also have it's net session profit gate. You also have the option to only run it if it gets essentially between, so on the price levels, between pivot, S1M, and R1M. So that's the price levels. A lot of fluctuation. If you've been trading for a while, you would have noticed this. A lot of fluctuation happens around the pivot line, okay? So in the pivot line, essentially what I've done is you can also now have the gate only if, so you can have this net session profit gate only if prices are in there somewhere. So somewhere between S1M and R1M around the pivot line. So you also have that option. That's another feature in 1006. Okay. So the final model, not the final.
Order canceled.
Uh-oh, we're out. I'm glad that happened before I left. So let's see what order canceled. There it is. Order canceled, guys, means that there is a stop order that it canceled or a profit target that it canceled, and so on. So that is MNQ. So that put the profit there, but I thought I heard an echo, so maybe I did, maybe I didn't. No, I didn't. Okay, so that's it. Let me see. Let's just make sure. Go all the way to the end in case something popped in there. Yeah, that's it. So that order just canceled. We are done right there. We are waiting for GC over here. And we are also waiting for ES over here. Okay. All right, guys. I need to get to my other machine. So I will let this run for you guys. You can see what's happening. This is live. Again, we are Monday, August 10th. It is now 12:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Order canceled. Order submitted. Order canceled. Order canceled.
right, guys, I am back at my normal desk. See what is going on here. Okay, so that looks like it is the $10 stop. Okay, so let's talk about this one first. So this is ES. Let's go all the way back. All right, so what happened here? This is the $10 stop that I have. What $10 stop do you have, Rafi? This $10 stop. It's a minimum parked stop. Okay, so if you go all the way down on the strategy, right there, anytime you highlight over with your mouse on any one of these, you're going to see a pop-up, a tooltip, whatever you want to call it, this, and it's going to essentially tell you what that parameter does. So this is going to, it says 32 minutes before, subtracted from that flatten exit time, flatten everything exit time, move my stop and just park it at $10. Okay, now there is no $10 for ES, so it basically puts it at the nearest price, which would be 12.5, so one tick away. Okay, so that's what it did there, and that's why it booked it. Okay, that's one thing to I'm glad that happened, because now I could show it to you. Now, this doesn't mean that this was the right thing to do. It's just from experience over the years. The last half hour or so, that's why I put 32 minutes, just to give it another 2 minutes, gets really weird. Sometimes it's like this $10 you regret. You're like, oh, I wish I hadn't put it, would have hit a much bigger win. Yes, but other times it can totally go the other way. It's a total 50-50 type of a situation. And in those type of situations, you go conservative. When it's 50-50, you don't really have an edge in that last 30 minutes, then you have to go conservative. If you're up, why give anything back? That's my view anyway. You don't have to share my view. You could certainly not use that parameter if you don't want to use it. You're like, no, Rafi, see, right now you're going to see this thing going to pop up and it's going to go all the way to whatever, 77.84, 77.85, or whatever. Let's see, 77.86 maybe here at this level, or perhaps the 77.82 R1 mid. And we, we not lost, but we left some money on the table. Okay, that's a fair point. But it could have also taken out to 2 days ago high. So you have to remember that. So we didn't lose anything on it. We ended up with, we pretty much broke even. 812C. It was, I believe this was 800 before. So now it's 812.50. That one tick. Okay, so that's it. Everything here is correct. Why is everything correct? Why is that even a question, Rafi? If nobody's watched these videos before, what do you mean it's correct, Rafi? Well, again, I'll say it and I'll keep saying it. NinjaTrader uses a FIFO system when it comes to strategy performance reporting. Because they're using a FIFO, first in, first out system, if you have an initial entry, let's say intra-long or intra-short, whichever, and then while that trade is still live, you have another scale-in trade that goes in, NinjaTrader will most likely misattribute that the results of that trade. Okay? So the only way to get that right is to, well, not the only way, there are several ways. One of the ways is to get the actual data is to look at the chart. Okay, just look at the chart and you'll see. The other one is to look at the executions tab, and finally the orders tab. The one that has the most data that I prefer is the execution tab, which I've made a Pinnacle Quant dashboard, which is available for free for clients and non-clients to download. It works for any NinjaTrader user who essentially, all you have to do is export the CSV file that is in the executions tab. So you right-click anywhere in your executions tab and essentially export the CSV, and then you upload the CSV to the dashboard, which is not sitting on any of my servers. I literally made a tool, guys. It's running on your own machine. It's not going anywhere, that data, okay? So that's pretty much it, but looks like there was another one here. Oh, that happened quickly. Enter short right off the bat, and it booked it for, let's see what happened. What was the time there? At the close. Right off the bat. So it went there, it opened there, and it booked it. There would be a $10 stop over there. Oh, excuse me. The reason for that is because MNQ, I've left it at 1244. I forgot. I'm so glad that happened. So at 1244, I left the exit time for 1244 on this one, because many of you are using 1244. not many. I keep saying some of you are using 1244, particularly the ones who are trading with NinjaTrader brokerage. You're using not 1244 Pacific Standard Time per se. You're using Central Standard Time, but 60 minutes prior to your RTH close is what you're doing. So you're doing that because that's when they stop counting in NinjaTrader brokerage. They start counting overnight, basically. So for margin requirement reasons, many of you want to be out before that happens. And so, well, some of you. So I had it here at 1244. You subtract 32 minutes from 1244, and you put it there at a profit lock of $1 for MNQ, because I use $10 for NQ, $1 for MNQ. So that is why right on entry, pretty much exit it. Okay, the very next bar. So that's it. So that's not going to look for any more trades there. What happened here? Protective stop. And that's it. I think we are done. It is 1240 now. Let's just go over everything. So we just saw that one, 812. CL. Did it have anything else? That would be cool if it did. CL did not have anything further. And we ended up with CL with 780. Volatile CL, news-driven CL. PQ News is running, of course, it's running on all of them. But PQ News on CL, it's a very good match, in my opinion, guys. It solves a pretty big problem. All right, so, well, it actually solves it for all of the instruments, but particularly for CL, which is the leading reason why we're having any volatility in all these other instruments. The anchor is right here, you guys, CL. Oil plays a huge role in the price of things, okay? Any airline you want to use, you understand that's the biggest problem that they're going to have is their oil. Their fuel. So that's, oil is a very important thing. If it gets out of control, it impacts everything. You know, fluctuations excluded, but normal fluctuations. But if it gets out of control, it's going to impact everything. So that is the trades for NQ. So let's just go over that again. So 2280, thank God for everything. And then there's no, it's true, this is just the HigherEdgeAI stuff that I'm running for all the instruments. So then there is GC. 1790 for GC. Guys, today we had no losses. That is a very good day. Thank God. Thank God for good days. Thank God for bad days. Thank God for wins. Thank God for the losses. Today had no losses, but not every day is like this. On Friday, we had 2 losses, though we were up for everything. Thank God. We did have, on 2 different instruments, a loss each. But this is today, no losses at all. But I think you're getting the idea of how this works. I strongly recommend watching Friday's video, which is the video previous to this video. Watch that one. Watch this one. For those who, there's a lot of people who try to make it easy for people to watch things, like they'll put up watch this link, guys. I stopped doing that. Let me explain why. Number 1, it takes time for me. Number 2, I can't imagine people wanting to spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for software, high-end, unique proprietary software, sophisticated stuff, and not put the energy to actually watch videos and learn about that software. That makes no sense to me. So I would imagine that anybody who's truly interested in using this kind of software, this kind of sophistication, they would spend some time learning about it. And the best place to learn about it is going to be on my YouTube channel, so you can see everything live, okay? That's as good as it gets, guys. Live, so you saw everything live. That is as good as I can possibly, the information, that's as good as it gets. So you have now very good information at your fingertips to make a decision. If you are interested and have excess capital, that's so important. Now, when it comes to trading, in my opinion, the only thing that is tradable, day tradable, is a speculative product designed for speculation. Which is futures. Okay, futures instruments. Everything that you see here is a derivative. Everything that you see here is designed for speculators. Some use it for hedging, others use it for straight up day trading, but that's what it's designed for, which is why the tax laws benefit futures traders, the 60-40 tax rule. That rule does not apply to anybody who's trading stocks. Okay? There's a reason for it, because you're not supposed to be day trading stocks. Those are investment vehicles. So in my previous video, I was very animated about not trading Forex or stocks or equities, right? There's a reason for it. Equities in particularly are investment vehicles. You're supposed to invest in that and wait potentially decades. Okay, that's how that works. If you have the ability to be patient, then it makes sense, okay, to do that. That's the entire objective. Some people hold it for a year or two and they get out. Some people do it from quarter to quarter and then get out. But day trading stocks makes no sense whatsoever. Take it from a former day trader of stocks nearly 2 decades ago. I can tell you it doesn't make any sense. When you start to really analyze the numbers, analyze the market, really spend some time doing your homework as opposed to reading silly books who try to motivate you and they're basically just trying to sell books, or buying courses that are just a total waste of time and money. I'm telling you that I did my own analysis and it's just not possible. Okay, day trading is not possible when it comes to stocks. With futures, also not possible unless you're using very sophisticated real-time machine learning, and now because of the world that we live in the environment that we live in, news-based models that are running in real time. So if you don't have both machine learning and live news and full automation that is very defensive and expresses every one of the desires that you have and the objectives that you have when it comes to risk and reward, then no, even in that scenario, futures is not day tradable. That the only reason it is possibly day tradable is because of software like this. But you should be rebooting your NinjaTrader every day. Every day that you let NinjaTrader run, it's eating into your machine's resources. Okay, I can't recommend that. So there are people like, Rafi, I have no time. This is the best that I can do. In their defense, what they've done is they're trading micros, but they're usually doing anywhere between 2 to 5 micros. And they're like, Rafi, if worst case scenario, it loses. I don't care. It will not impact me. But when it's doing well, it's doing well. So I'm just going to let it go. That's how they look at it. They're not monitoring it at all. So they're not monitoring if NinjaTrader is lagging and the bars that you see that are printing here are literally lagging on his machine. Like it feels like it's molasses coming in. Okay. That's your machine telling you, bro, I am tired. I need a break. Okay. So you need to reboot that whole machine. That whole VPS has to be rebooted. If your NinjaTrader itself will cause that if you just let it run every day, every day, every day. It also ultimately will be eating into your resources. You don't want to do that, guys. Restart your NinjaTrader daily. Every once in a while, reboot your whole machine, VPS, dedicated server, computer, etc. If you're using your own desktop computer, I certainly hope you're somewhere in the United States, because outside the United States, it's going to be problematic for you, ultimately. But if you are in the United States, I'm in the US, I'm in Los Angeles, and I'm using a powerful gaming machine. It's got 64 gigabytes of RAM. It's got an RTX. So it's a powerful gaming machine. I still don't recommend doing it. I mean, like I said in my previous video, I have lots of contingency planning in place. I have multiple internet connections with a failover router. I have a UPS batteries on each machine. And on top of that, I have a whole house standby generator. So if you don't want to do all that kind of stuff so that you make sure that nothing goes wrong with electricity or your internet connection, just get a VPS. Go through a VPS provider and let them take care of it for you. It's ideal if you go through a NinjaTrader ecosystem listed one, because they have the optimized settings to run NinjaTrader. Alternatively, I do have some clients who have gone their own way. They have their own VPS providers. Obviously, it's a lot cheaper when you leave that NinjaTrader ecosystem. So they wanted to work with somebody who's a lot cheaper, but they had to go back and forth with them. Okay, ultimately, they got them the documentation as to what's required for the OS to be just right with NinjaTrader, and ultimately the hosting company was able to get them on a machine that had every one of those specs. And it does, they could do it, guys. It's just that it takes more work. Okay, so you have to go back and forth, test, etc. It's a lot easier to just pay and be done to the ones who are already doing it. And I do have a particular preferred vendor in mind. I don't want to share those in those videos because I don't want to do that. But if you guys want to know, let me know, and I will send you my thoughts on that particular vendor. So since it is now 12:51 Pacific time, I'm going to sign off here, guys. I have additional work to do. So I just wanted to really pop in here for CL so that you can see that in the previous video on Friday, it did not have any trades. I wanted to show you that it does have trades, and I wanted to show you that it had blocked the short side, and you saw that the price kept moving, for the most part, significantly higher from the open. So it fluctuated a little bit, but you could see it just taking off. So this is very much news driven, guys. It very much is news driven. So to trade it without PQ News, it's not something that I would recommend. Okay, so this is where we're at with the current environment that we're in. Look at that, just to dump off everything. Okay, so this is the environment that we're in. We are in a war on, war off environment. There's lots of different analysis on that, and I've been reading up and listening to a lot of them. I don't think this is going to be over soon, and I do think the worst, sadly, is yet to come. Okay, doesn't mean we don't trade. That's quite the opposite, actually. All volatility that's measured and controlled by, that we can see what's happening is a very good thing for day traders, okay? The problem is sideways price action, which CL had in my Friday's video. Most of the day was sideways price action, which HigherEdgeAI, thank God, stayed out of. It's, there's some work in there to try to stay out of sideways price action, guys, okay? It's a good thing that it stayed out because it was sideways, meaning whether you're right or wrong, you're not going to make much money. You might lose some money. So we want to essentially, God willing, make money from that. We can take advantage of volatility and do that. And so we do want volatility.
Order canceled.
All right. Something else just canceled. All right. I was about to sign off. So let's see what just canceled. That just means a trade got canceled. Oh, okay. We were short on NQ. Did I even mention that before? I don't remember, guys. My mind is in like two different places right now. So we were short on NQ. Okay. And that is, ooh, I like it a lot. Okay, that's good. All right, let's see what happened with NQ. I like it. All right. So thank God. No scaling trades. Everything's going to be accurate on the reporting. So let's take a look at what happened with NQ. Every time I say I'm going to sign off, something happens, guys. All right, that's the first trade. Went up, came back down. Second trade, long. Protective stop. Third trade, long, protective stop. Final trade is this one. So that did also well, thank God. Good entry too. Okay, so let's see. There's no more, right? I'm gonna really sign off here, guys. Okay. Finito la musica. Guys, it is 12:54. It's going to flatten everything at 12:59 anyway. It stopped looking for trades at 12:30. I don't want anybody to think he had more trades. He turned it off. I saw what he did. Okay, 12:30. Okay, that means it's not looking for more trades. It's 12:54 now. Let's see. All of them are 12:30. I'm just showing it because of how the various... Anyway, I'll just show it to you guys. 12:30. 12:30. 12:30. All right. So you guys saw it. You see the boxes that are checked. Go long, go short. These are not checked. That means that's not doing anything. Only these are checked. Okay, guys. 6:30 to 12:30. And you can see the time right there. You can see it, right? Very clear. 12:56. Okay, guys. You can see it where my crossbar is. 12:56. Until next time, guys, take care of yourselves and God bless.